Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. We're going to do a rest of the year reading. This is kind of going to be like those deeper readings that I did a couple weeks ago. Your first row is going to represent what you need to hear right now. And you have this hidden gem card and this relocation and home card. So some of you could be relocating, of course. And you could be discovering a hidden gem. One thing I will say is that if you are moving or if you are looking for a place, I would definitely do my research, especially right now because, it's like I think that, probably we're going to see something happen to the housing market either at the end of this year or beginning of next year. And so, again, I would like personally, not telling anyone what to do, but I would be, if you absolutely need to move right now, I would be looking for some sort of deal or something like that, right? I always use the example, like years ago, I had a friend in Seattle, and basically they bought a house for a ridiculously low price because a big crime had taken place in that home, right? And, it's something I can't talk about on YouTube. So there you go. That might give you a clue on what it was. But, so anyway, I don't know. I wouldn't live in a house like that, but, they basically got a really good deal because of that. And so I'm not saying you have to find something like that, but there are deals. And, the other thing to think about is it's like sometimes I think we want to live in an area, but it's like maybe outside of the area is like a little bit cheaper or, a little bit better of a deal. And so, I would be looking for like a hidden gem, or, something like that if you are moving. That's basically, what I would think about there, Scorpio. Again, this first row is going to represent what you need to hear right now. So it could be basically about anything. You have the Four of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, and the Five of Swords. Definitely a good time to let go of something here, Scorpio. You have the Tower right next to it and the Death card. Like how crazy is it that you get these readings with the Tower and the Death card? Like always with me. I don't even know how that's possible, but there you go. Very interesting. You have Tower and Judgment. Again, Tower and Judgment to me changes the meaning of the Tower because to me, that combination is the most powerful combination in the tarot, those two cards. And to me, it represents like a major wake-up call or a major revelation. The Four of Pentacles is about leaving a comfort zone. And you have the Three of Wands here, you have the Four of Wands. I mean, you have so much stuff that would really represent getting outside of a comfort zone. So, if you are doing that, or if you are doing anything to do that, that would be a good idea. Now, one thing I will say is I kind of feel like this is cheating because, just based off, and the reason I say that, it's not really cheating, but just based off your astrology, I personally, and again, this is according to Chris's crappy astrology. This is kind of a personal belief. It's just something I feel based off the astrology for fixed signs, is that is the secret sauce for fixed signs, is to just push yourself past that point where you'd normally give up or do something you've never done before. Leave a comfort zone in any area of your life you want to improve, right? And so I kind of feel this is a fixed sign thing going on. And, it's like the universe is challenging fixed signs to do this, and, I just would. You have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups can be like a blessing in disguise. Ten of Cups is happy home, happy family. It's fortune after difficulty, good things happening after a difficult period of time. So, there could be a lot of good things, like blessings coming in for you over the next several months. Now, the thing about the Ten of Cups, though, is that you have to cement those blessings into your life. This exists above these people's heads, right? So I always say that it would be a good idea for them to make sure they bring those blessings down to earth. And, one great way to do this is to express gratitude. If something good happens to you over the next several months, just be grateful for it. Sit in gratitude for an extended period of time, right? Again, I can't prove it, but one thing I will say, something that's changed my life, Scorpio, is like I used to be the type of person where I would rush right past something that I accomplished. Like I would have an accomplishment on to the next one. I wouldn't even be grateful for it. It's like once I paused and started being grateful for all the wins that I have and like took a little bit extra time to be a little bit extra grateful, I don't know, it just seems like I'm winning more. And I think you could be winning more. This reading is saying you can win more. But you have to, kind of like practice, sitting with those wins, no matter how big or small they are. You have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords can represent a separation or walking away from something. Again, I have a sneaking suspicion that this will be a very common card to come up during this set of readings. We have 2 eclipses in the month of September. These eclipses, I think, are definitely asking us to release something. And you have the Tower, Judgment, even though together that represents like a major wake-up call or a big revelation, I feel a lot of you are just, you could be asking to separate away from something, and it's probably something that is just repeating here, Scorpio, with the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a never-ending nightmare. It's like Groundhog's Day. And then you have the Three of Wands, which says you can escape Groundhog's Day. You can end this nightmare, right? But what do you have to do? You have to leave a comfort zone with the Three of Wands. So pretty simple, which is good. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Three Cups. Three Cups is like support. You have the Three Cups twice in your reading, right here as well. So I think that if you need support, this is saying like there are people who will support you. There are people who will give you guidance. There are people who have good guidance for you. You just need to listen to those people. With the Ten of Cups, yes, you have the World, which literally would represent you needing to cement something into the world, like I literally said on that card. The World can be an accomplishment or achievement, can represent closing out a cycle, can represent moving. Definitely, I think some of you could be moving. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not even this year. It's like it might be next year, over the next year that you could be moving. But again, I would really be looking for some sort of deal. I would be looking for some sort of something, especially, and again, I think there will be some deals like maybe next year, right, coming in. So if you can wait, I would. Now that doesn't mean you have to wait. Like if you have to move, sometimes we just have to do things. I always tell people, it's like sometimes it's unavoidable, right? But like I said, in those situations, you probably could find a deal. You probably, could find something that would be better, or, whatever. So do your research, but, for sure. But definitely could be an accomplishment. With the Five of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, this is about ending a cycle for sure. The Wheel of Fortune kind of is saying that luck is on your side. I'm not saying that this is perfect, right? Five of Swords, Nine of Swords. Whatever you're walking away from, it could be something that's been difficult to walk away from, or a challenge, or something that's been, a repeat cycle. But I kind of feel like the Wheel of Fortune is just saying, luck is on your side. Destiny is on your side, whatever you want to call it. Next, we're going to look at what are you outgrowing at this time. You have this slow victory card and this changes and healing card. So this would be pretty good because it's like maybe you're finally closing out a healing. It's like I think we can heal forever basically, but what I would say is it's like maybe there's a certain healing that has taken a long time that you're finally getting to the end of, which would be a good thing. I also love that the Tower actually comes up in this row now that I think about it. Because you get the Tower with me all the time. The Tower is Scorpio, just like the Death card. But, again, this could say that what you are outgrowing is like the need to have Tower moments. Now, Tower moments are a natural part of Scorpio. Scorpio is kind of like the Phoenix Rising, right? So it's like things you are always in this process of, burning things down and, kind of like regrowing things. And, but are you technically eliminating this from your life? Maybe not, because it's part of who you are, but at the same time, it's like, it could be one of those things where you are, you're getting better at the process. I'll give you a good example. I was born during Pluto in Scorpio, personally, right? And it falls in kind of like a part of my chart that has a lot to do with work and business. And it's like I've had to reinvent myself many times in work and business since I was 16. I literally started my first business when I was 16. I had a fish tank cleaning business, right? And I've started many since. and all of them have had varying degrees of success. Some extremely successful, some not so successful. And but it's like I've had to reinvent myself many times. But you know what? It's like I finally have gotten better at doing it. And again, I think that you are getting better at, kind of like going through changes. You have the Nine of Swords. Again, I think you're ending some sort of Groundhog's Day situation in your life, which is good. I might have said this to you recently, Scorpio. This might be something that came up for you in a recent reading. And so that would be even better, because it would basically say you are finally overcoming this, whatever this situation is. But I really have nothing to say here, because like that's it. That's all I have to say, is that you are ending a Groundhog's Day situation. You have the Three of Cups. Again, the Three of Cups is pretty good. But, one thing that this could say is that you have outgrown, or you are outgrowing the need for other people to be on your side. It's like sometimes I think in like work or business, we look for the approval of others. We ask a person like, hey, do you think this is a good idea? Or should I do this? Should I do that? And again, I think you're no longer doing that. It's like you're not. It's again, this doesn't mean you can't ask people for advice or anything like that. But it's like I think instead of asking people, you're just going to get started, and then you'll ask for advice later. It's like I get that the need for the approval of others is kind of like what you are releasing with that Three of Cups. And again, I think that would be very good. It's like you're developing the confidence to just do things on your own. With the Tower, you have the Knight of Pentacles. What did this card say? Slow victory. The Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles would have slow victories. He is a slow-ass knight. He's very slow. He's the only knight in the tarot that isn't moving. So I feel like maybe you're getting better at moving, literally. I mean, it's funny that we've been talking about moving, like as in homes, but maybe you're just getting better at making moves here, Scorpio. I think that would be, that is a good thing as well. But, I think you're no longer waiting for things to happen in your life. He can represent progress, and all he has to do is plant seeds in this field behind him, and they will grow. So a lot of you could be just creating a lot of growth, becoming more of an action taker. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Lovers. This could be love, but I think you're ending a cycle again. The Lovers can be being at a crossroads. Sometimes I think the Lovers can come up when we are choosing between two paths, And I just literally feel that you're ending one path and being guided towards another one. This is your higher self angel, and so your higher self is basically guiding you. And this right here is also your higher self angel on the Judgment card. It's like you're answering the call. Could this be love? Sure. But I kind of feel like this part of the reading is much bigger picture. I think this is... Nine of Swords is something that you've probably been going around with for a long time, a difficult cycle. And I think the universe is, kind of calling you to create the change. With the Three of Cups, you have two cards. You have the Devil and the Ace of Wands. Yes, like I said, I think you're just doing things on your own. There has been a lot of devil energy in these readings so far. I've only done about 4 of these readings so far, so I can't say that everyone has had it, but we'll see what happens. I do think that though. One thing I will say is we have this magical triangle between Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, and that's going to last until about 2028, a very long time. And there's a little bit of this that I think could be a little bit tricky and toxic because, it's like I think that this magical triangle, especially based off the planets it's happening with, is, we have, it's like, it's basically what I've been saying about Neptune and Aries. I think during Neptune and Aries, we'll see like the rise of cults because people will be looking for answers. But Neptune and Aries wants us to have our own answers. And, that's it. So, again, sometimes we have to realize that we have to do things on our own. And I think that's what you're realizing here. Next, we're going to look at one move that would change everything. So, what move could you make right now to change things significantly in your life? You have this strategy card. It says, plan, scheme, strategize your future, and take the next right actions for your life. You have this ultimate fulfillment card. It says you're now entering a time of peace, happiness, and emotional fulfillment. So that looks good. But again, having a plan would be a good idea. Or coming up with a plan on how you could do that probably will benefit you the most. So, that's definitely something that I would be thinking about with this energy is coming up with a plan on how to improve your life the most. You have the Three of Wands, the Death card, and the Knight of Wands. The Three of Wands can be expansion and growth. So a lot of you could be expanding out into the universe more. I think expanding would be a good idea. I think that would be an action that I would take if I were you, Scorpio, is pushing yourself past that point where you would normally give up on something or, kind of going a little bit farther than you normally would. I'm also getting research here. If you're researching any new ideas, again, just going one step deeper, might make all the difference in the world. And that's kind of popping into my head with the Three of Wands. So that looks good. You have the Death card, so again, whenever you show up as yourself in a reading, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. So I think a lot of you are showing up in a very strong position here, which is great. I also feel that challenging beliefs would be a good idea is what's popping into my head. This guy right here, this Pope-looking guy, he kind of represents traditional beliefs or, just beliefs that you've had for a long time. And he's begging for his life. But the Death card says that sometimes everything needs to undergo a change. And so there might be some beliefs that are holding you back. And I would take a look at whatever those beliefs are so that you can move forward. You have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, more adventure for sure. Again, everything about this reading, there's a lot of things, even that Nine of Swords, just very simply, can say you're just doing the same things over and over and over again. And the one quick way to fix that is to do something different. So, and it's a very simple thing here, Scorpio. Anywhere in your life where you're not getting a different result and you've been getting the same result for a long time, that's where I would explore and adventure and try new things, right? And so it's like maybe you've met the past 3 people you've dated, and maybe they've all gone kind of like the same way, and maybe that's because you're picking the same type of person, right? Maybe you need to pick a different type of person, or it's like maybe you met them all on Tinder and now you need to meet people in public or something like that, right? It's like I would change your approach to something. You're all different. You all want something different. And again, this row is going to represent one move that could change everything. So it's going to be different for all of you. But I would look at the things that are repeating and say, like, how can I approach this differently? And I literally think it will be that simple. With the Three of Wands, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is patience. For some reason, I had thought you had Temperance twice, but I guess not. Temperance is alchemy. It's mixing things together. And maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe it is a good time to mix things together. We have Uranus and Gemini, which is a great time to mix, old ideas with new ideas. It's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater here. It's about kind of how can I get multiple things working together, right? And so I think turning, he's turning water into wine. He's practicing alchemy. It's I think you have the ability to turn something into gold, but it's going to require you to use multiple skills. Let's see. With the Death card, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles, material success on the horizon. He's working diligently towards one thing with the Eight of Pentacles. He's putting work into those 8 Pentacles, and that's it. So I think it would be a good time for you to put the work into whatever it is that you're working on, but to stay focused. I would challenge you to do that, Scorpio, between now and the end of the year. Pick one project or idea and make it your focus, and don't do anything else. And I literally feel it would change your life. It's maybe you have a habit. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think you're all different, obviously. But if you have a habit of jumping from one thing to another, I would pick one thing, make it happen, and I think you will, is what that card is saying. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Magician twice, right here. So I think that a lot of you, the other thing is that a good action to take with the Magician is reinvention. And also to look at the tools that you're using. So if something isn't working out for you, it's maybe you're just not using the right tools for the job. And I think that could also be very helpful, is making sure that you are using the right tools for the job. Next, what are we doing? We're going to look at what blessings are coming to you right now. You have this night sky. It says hope and guidance. You also have this century plant. It says look upwards, right? Which is kind of funny because it says look upwards, and you have this night sky that you would be looking upwards towards. So, and not only that, Scorpio, but you have the Judgment card. These people are looking up, right, to their higher self. So maybe a lot of you, that's what you need to do, is realize that you're not stuck. The whole point of this card is that they're standing in these coffins. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin represents their new life. And they have to let go of everything from their old life to step into their new life. I kind of feel like that's one of the hardest things about, we've had Pluto go from Capricorn to Aquarius. That cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius is the death of establishment. So for everyone, Pluto changing signs like that is very significant, and for everyone on Earth. But we've all been asked to probably let go of things, but we have to completely release the past, every little aspect of it, and completely start over, which can be very scary. So, that could be happening. But again, we're looking at what blessings are coming to you. And, again, this could be an aha moment. It could be guidance on your next steps. Definitely with that tower, it could be an aha moment or a major revelation that kind of guides you on your path, which would be great. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but as far as a blessing is concerned, it is discovering another way of doing things, which we just talked about. Clearly, the number one solution for you, Scorpio, in this reading is to find other ways of doing things and to stop doing them the same. Nine of Swords, right? And so Seven of Swords, he's going to war, but in a different way. And so looking for other solutions to problems would be a good idea. I also think things are lightening up a little bit, and the Seven of Swords, he has these polka dots on his cloak. And polka dots in the tarot, can represent needing to have more fun, needing to be more playful, needing to not take things too seriously. And so for a lot of you, it's like, this could be like more fun and enjoyment that's coming into your life, which would be great. Next, you have the Magician here. The Magician kind of, again, says you can have whatever you want. It is a card of using your powers of manifestation, but also looking at the tools. And again, that could be a blessing that's coming in for you, I feel, is that maybe you're discovering new tools that will help you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, and that would be great as well. So let's see here. With the Judgment card, you have the Ace of Swords. Definitely messages. Ace of Swords can be communication. This could be like a victory that you're having as well. So, that could be a blessing. This could be as simple as overcoming an obstacle, because the Ace of Swords can represent overcoming an obstacle. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands like charging towards success in some ways. And so, especially here, it's also about more fun for sure. Like in a row like this, where we are looking at what blessing is coming in for you, the Knight of Wands would represent more freedom of, exploration. He is very spontaneous. There are many ways he could accomplish whatever he's trying to accomplish. So this could be more freedom in that sense that's coming in for you, and that could definitely be a blessing. With the Magician, you have the Five of Wands. You could be standing out above the competition as well. Again, this has been coming up with for people like crazy, but it makes sense because Pluto and Aquarius is a collective. Pluto and Aquarius is co-creation, which is the opposite of competition. So, again, a lot of you could be like learning from the competition or getting benefits from the competition, work and business, pretty much any area of your life, and that's definitely something I would focus on here. Next, we're going to look at what will happen in your love life. You have this Companion card. It says loyal, devoted, courageous, and friend. There you go. You have this light space. It says enlightenment, purity, insight, and life. You could be attracting a very loyal, determined person. And again, this could just be a person you love. It could be like a friend. That card says friend on it, that Companion card. So, you're all different. But, if you do want love, looks amazing. Even if you don't want love, I think this looks amazing. You could be finding people who are more kind of like your tribe that resonate with you more, and that would be great. You have the Four Wands, the Fool, and the Five of Pentacles. The Four Wands can represent marriage, of course. So if you are looking for love, this could be marriage coming in for you. It could be meeting a person that you will marry. If you're not looking for love even, again, I think you could be like meeting people who set you free in some way. The Four Wands is a card of freedom. And these people, it's a card of completion. Like they are crossing this finish line here. The card itself says you have to go through this portal and celebrate with these people. That's like what this card really means. And so a lot of you could be doing that. You have the Fool. It's like I feel like you are ready, for love. I know that's like kind of a lame message, but it's like sometimes I do think we have to be ready. And, he has a dog right here, which also represents a companion, if I can get that word out. So you could be attracting a real companion, like someone who is more of like a friend and a lover. It's like both. And, a person where it's like you're kind of just on the same path. It feels different to me than what you're used to. So, obviously that could be a good thing. You have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is like two people who are feeling left out in the cold. You always get this with me, Scorpio. I'm pretty sure it's you that I always say this to. It's like you could definitely be attracting a person who has had a similar experience to you. With the Four Wands, you have the Page of Cups. Yes, definitely love coming in for you here. Definitely an admirer. So this is, I think there's like very strong interest, I would say. You have the Knight of Wands. This is like extra strong interest. Scorpio, I think you are a Scorpio. You are very intense. But I just think, like, you have probably been attracted to past people. But, there's like something extra going on here, I feel. And that might be a clue for you. So for those of you that are like dating and that are looking for a person, I think you're either have already or you're about to meet someone where there's like a little bit extra. You know what I mean? There's like something different. There's something a little bit more. And I definitely feel that feeling here. So there you go. With the Fool, yeah, of course, you have the Knight of Cups. Definitely a Knight in Shining Armor coming in for those of you that want it. So that looks good. Like I said, I think there's a little bit of extra desire going on here. But the Knight of Cups could be a very dreamy person. You have a bunch of Knights. You have Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. So you have the Knight of Wands again here. This could start with a message. The Knights are messengers, so there could be, this person could like be sending you a message, or You could just start with communication. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Like I said with that Fool, I feel like some of you have decided you want love. You know, it's like maybe you have decided, you know, this card to me says, is the juice worth the squeeze? So sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, I think we need to say, like, is it worth it or not to have what I want? And I don't know, you're all different, so you all want something different. But I do think it's worth it, so there you go. But this looks pretty interesting here, Scorpio. I like it. So, yeah, looks good. Thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your rest of the year.